Show today, Trump is issuing a code red with the FBI for the safety of federal workers carrying out the Trump agenda. Code red for with the FBI for the safety of federal workers carrying out the Trump agenda. Another ICE facility was attacked, and there was anti-ICE engravings on the bullets. There was 2 fatalities and 2 casualties. The FBI has already identified the shooter, and yes, there is a trend coming from the leftist side of dark money involved. We're going to show you all the details in a moment. NGOs. And again, guys, this is all coming from one side. And on top of that, just think about this right here, y'all. The Biden administration has officially been caught censoring all major social media platforms, including YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, you tell me, what is fascist? Is fascism when somebody gets fired from a private company for saying something stupid like Jimmy Kimmel did? Or is fascism when the government goes into these private companies and censors people's citizens' speech? You tell me in the comments, because this is sick. In a little over a week, leftists have murdered Charlie Kirk, shot an ABC affiliate for not airing Jimmy Kimmel, shot at a wedding yelling "Free Palestine," shot people at an ICE facility with 2 people dead, and have held mass celebrations and celebrated Charlie Kirk's murders in the streets of New York. Is this domestic terrorism? Is it coming from one side? Is it coming from both sides? Because I feel like it's really coming from one side. The Biden administration has been caught officially using the government to force Twitter, YouTube, Facebook to censor its political enemies. We literally have it where the former YouTube CEO, Susan Wojcicki, admitted that they removed over 1 million COVID videos while coordinating directly with Biden and Fauci. This is exactly what fascists do. Censor and control speech. And we are seeing it in real time. We have the investigations. Congress did what it was supposed to do, and it literally has had these companies admit that they worked with the Biden administration to censor Americans. What should happen? I'm so sick of this, guys, and it's not even stopping. Check this out. The Secret Service just busted a massive network used in swatting attacks against Republicans, even big-time MAGA Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And again, what is Trump trying to do? Put America first. Shine a light on all the evil and the corruption. And we're constantly seeing that the rhetoric from the left, Hillary Clinton coming out and saying very terrible things. You literally had Gavin Newsom come out and say, oh, this is code red. We're not going to have a 2028 election unless we fight. And he said, and I'm not just talking about verbally. All this stuff that's coming out now, we are seeing their real hearts, their real minds, what they're willing to do to fight to try to stay in power. And it's sickening. They're not, this is the thing. We are seeing violence that it's so unprecedented. It's so bad right now. And we have to call it out. That's why it means so much to me, guys. What I'm going to show you today is the receipts, the news, what's going on. It's not just here, it's across this world that we have to fight and bring the truth and do what is right with common sense. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, guys. We got a big show for you today. Bombshell news of what's going on with all these attacks, especially this 3rd attack on the ICE facility in Texas, the FBI, what's going on with them. It's getting bad. Want to say thank you to everybody who's watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family, hitting that subscribe button so we can take care of you every day with the top news. Want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. We are truly grateful that you support us in our giving. And those that give a super chat donation, want to give some special love to those that have given already. Gator Presley, show Gator Presley some love in the chat, everybody, member of the channel. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, this is what helps get our voice out there. It gets these videos out there. We're going to show you the receipts Because I'm telling you, like, if we don't grow the common sense in this, in the United States of America, it's only going to get worse. If people are only getting their news from one side, remember, we show you news from everywhere. Doesn't matter what it is. We show you the truth. And we show you with receipts, facts. Because again, it's terrible what I'm about to show you. But we are literally living in some crazy times right now. And I want to get to the, I want you to see with your own eyes, not just being told one thing. Trump is literally going around the world telling everybody, I told you so. And now people are seeing, and Trump is wanting to bring real change. Y'all, listen to this.
At this stuff, your countries are going to hell. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things, you know? They actually said during the campaign, they had a hat, the best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything.
We're handing the world the MAGA model. Stop the green stuff, close the borders, and make money, not war. It worked here, and it'll work there. You have a choice. Kill your culture and your currency, or use a little common sense. Then everybody can get a job, get married, have babies, go to church, and go on vacation, and give a little back. And if everybody can get their own houses in order, we don't have to police the world and be the bad guy. That's what they say they want, right? Biden used to come in and to the UN and say it was all about autocracy versus democracy. And the intelligentsia would nod their heads and stroke their chins. Well, all that means nothing if you can't keep your lights on and control your borders. Half the time, Biden didn't even know where he was.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to Washington. Fellow leaders, friends, 944 days.
Wow.
Putin has waged his vicious...
I don't know if you caught that, but this was in New York City, and he said, welcome to Washington.
...onslaught against Ukraine.
Welcome to Washington. The first Trump term, the UN rolled its eyes. Now Trump's back. He was right about everything, and they're forced to take him seriously. European officials say, quote, none of this is amusing anymore. Nor do the other leaders still believe they can manage Trump. They're still trying, but he's shown an unpredictability this time that no amount of compliments and gifts is going to change.
And you know why? I'm going to show you this, y'all, because this is everything right here. When Trump said the election was rigged, when Trump said the fake news, when Trump said all this stuff was happening, look, we now know that when it came to the elections, when it came to the FBI, when it came to the CIA, of how much the Biden administration, all these networks were totally against Trump. And now we know that they've been caught by Congress, not just by anybody saying something, but by Congress themselves through years of investigation. That Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram all censored speech that was against Trump. This is stuff that we have to expose, and we have to show everybody. And again, too, it's to the point where now they're having to come out and explicitly say, look at this. In this video, former YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki admits that they removed over 1 million COVID videos while coordinating directly with Biden and Fauci. Even more to her, she doesn't just defend the censorship, she pathologizes dissent, musing about whether anti-vaxxers should be psychoanalyzed for their behavior. This was literally the left controlling the speech. In the past week, guys, they've murdered Charlie Kirk, have shot an ABC affiliate for not airing Kimmel, shot at a wedding yelling Free Palestine, shot people in an ICE facility, and had massive celebrations over Charlie's murder in the streets. Trump was right about everything. If you appreciate our news, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, because I'm telling you guys, we're bringing it today. This really does help us grow our family and our channel and our voice. They tried to control Trump. They can't. Trump was right about all this stuff. And now the whole world is seeing, and that's why more and more people are gravitating towards MAGA.
Everybody knows who has the power. The president of France, Emmanuel Macron, had his motorcade halted because Trump was just hanging out around the block. And 47 told him to go for a walk.
I'm sorry, I'm the president. I'm really sorry. It's just that everything's frozen right now. There's a motorcade coming right. I'm sorry.
If you don't see, let me pause. How are you? Guess what? I'm waiting in the street because everything is paused for you.
Leaders around the world are calling Trump daddy, nominating him for the Nobel Peace Prize and flying to Mar-a-Lago for rounds of golf. Trump even got Zelensky to put on a suit at the White House and at the UN. A big shift is happening. Fox News alert. Trump thinks Zelensky has it in him to beat Putin. Quote, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form, with time, patience, and the financial support of Europe, and in particular, NATO. This is a huge change in posture for the president. Clearly unhappy with Putin's lackadaisical attitude towards peace, Trump just threw the car in drive and is suggesting that the United States, Ukraine, and NATO fully fund the campaign to push Putin completely back to the previous borders, no matter how long it takes. He called Putin weak.
It could be that Russia's a paper tiger. I don't know what they are, but 3.5 years of fighting and killing everybody, of killing 7,000 people a week for nothing, So it's a very sad situation, but most of you have seen the recent statement I put out a little while ago, and I'm glad you got it, but I feel that way. I really do feel that way. Let them get their land back.
I want to show you this, y'all, because again, Trump is out in the middle of the world trying to work and trying to put things in order, get people away from the green scam, make sure that people are being taken care of. And all the while, right here, we are literally days away from a government shutdown. And the Democrats are still demanding a $1.5 trillion increase in spending. How in the world do you stand before your constituents and say, yeah, everything is more expensive because the government continues to print money, but we want to spend $1.5 trillion more, and we still want to give hundreds of billions of dollars overseas, and we still want to fund all these NGOs, and you're about to hear it, guys. We are investigating the NGOs like never before. Trump is fed up with what you're about to see. And we're going to get to this in a moment, y'all. But just 3 days ago, Gavin Newsom signs a bill to unmask ICE in his state. Now, federal officials have already said they're not going to comply and that states do not have the right to tell federal immigration ICE what to do. And then now, today, this morning, we had a shooting. On the bottom, you can see the casings engraved with anti-ICE. Now, you tell me if they're not sending a message. We're going to show you a video in a moment, guys, but I'm telling you, the rhetoric from the left is sending a message that says we have to do whatever it takes to stop them, and they're not explicitly saying, please don't commit violence. Please don't go do this stuff. They're saying do whatever it takes, because if we don't, we won't have this. It is taking it to the next level. People are dying for doing their dang jobs. People's lives are 100% being affected like never before, and it has to stop. That's why they're moving into a code red, everybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Is this just a negotiating tactic, or does Trump mean it? We're about to find out. The ball's in Putin's court. And Trump says the next Russian plane that enters NATO airspace is getting shot out of the sky.
Mr. President, do you think that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter their airspace?
Yes, I do.
This is a new era. Biden's gone, the UN's feckless, and Trump's giving the world the playbook, the MAGA model. And Putin's on notice. If the Charlie Kirk assassination taught us anything, it's to be clear, bold, and unafraid. We're trying to help other countries. We're giving them billions of dollars. We're sending them arms, energy, and tech. We're trying to stop the killing. We're trying to talk sense into you. But if you're going to fly planes into airspace and send refugees across our borders and sabotage our teleprompters and escalators, while we're trying to help you, we're going to blind you with the light and expose you here and everywhere. Daddy's not happy.
And I'll tell you this, guys. Fred Samuel, thank you so much for the super chat. Said that's the same ICE building that had a bomb threat 2 months ago. They're not stopping, guys. It breaks my heart because violence is never the answer. Y'all show Fred Samuel some love in the chat, everybody. And now that we find out, this just more and more keeps coming out. Look at this. FBI finds and reveals they have found classified documents at John Bolton's office pertaining to weapons of mass destruction, strategic communications, and U.S. interest at the United Nations. You tell me, guys, if we aren't draining the swamp right now, uncovering the just complete, like, these people throwing the United States under the bus like never before, and it's all being exposed right now. And it wouldn't, and I go back and say to someone, because look at this, even right here, Jim Clyburn says that Biden was right to violate free speech and demand censorship of accurate COVID information because it could be misinformation. Then goes on to spread misinformation about Trump. Like, listen to this. This is what we're dealing with right now.
Well, I don't think they're the same, simply because Biden, if any of this took place, these weren't jokes. This wasn't a TV show. This was a pandemic. And we didn't need to have misinformation going out about this pandemic. There was enough coming from the president at the time. Put Clorox in your veins? That's the kind of foolishness that Biden...
You hear that? Like, again, this is what we're fighting against. And it always boils down to the same old. Listen to this, because I'm telling you, as this stuff is coming out, where do? You follow the money. You always follow the money. If you appreciate this, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Chris Prez, brother, thank you so much for the gifted 20 True Life News memberships. Growing the family. Show Chris Prez some love in the chat if you got a free membership from him, helping to grow the family, guys. This is a beautiful, guys. We are literally exposing so much right now. Everybody is being caught, and especially, guys, especially with what's happened in the past 24 hours. Secret Service busts massive network used in swatting attacks against Marjorie Taylor Greene and other Republicans. We're catching them all. And listen to this, because they're dialing it in, guys, going to where the money is at.
Take out George Soros, take out Alex Soros. They're funding most of this stuff, or a huge portion of it. Unleash the FBI, and then integrate the local law enforcement, the police departments, the sheriffs, the DEA. We have it's called the JTTF, the Joint Terrorism Task Force. They're created after 9/11, and they're in every major city in the United States. It's a fusion cell, a place for law enforcement to share intelligence and target terrorists. That's what this task force was created for, and everybody's already there. It's already in it. Just get the Antifa on the top of the deck at the Joint Terrorism Task Force and unleash law enforcement at every level at these guys, the sheriffs, the police, the feds, the DEA, everybody, because they are a terrorist. They've been designated a terrorist force. So go after these guys, get them out. Like you said, get the low-level Grundoons, the guys off the streets. But then what you didn't mention is the college professors. That's where these people are being radicalized, is in college. And this has been going on for decades, and it works. It's radicalized a huge chunk of our population, and now they're going after the kids in elementary school, the middle school, high school. They plant the seeds then, and then when they get to college, they hit them hard with this ideological poison, right? The woke mind virus, and they go after these students. So it's just like we're talking about the Syrians and ISIS. when I was fighting these wars, they're always trying to figure out how are these young Muslims getting radicalized. Well, guess what? Now it's here, and our people are getting radicalized into the left, and they're going out and murdering people and cutting off their own genitals and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So we have to stop the radicalization.
You gotta. There was so much truth in that right there, y'all. Because I'm telling you, we bring the receipts. We're showing you the list right here in the little over week. And if you appreciate this, if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, I'm telling you, this is literally, we're bringing the receipts today. Kids are being radicalized. It's what they're hearing from their leaders that is somewhat radicalizing them in some form or fashion. Because in the little over a week, they murdered Charlie Kirk, shot an ABC affiliate for not airing Kimmel, shot at a wedding yelling Free Palestine, shot people on an ICE facility, and you got to think, is this domestic terrorism? What the heck is going on? And if we don't stop it, because remember, how old was the kid that tried to assassinate Trump in Butler? Early 20s? How old was the person that murdered Charlie Kirk? 22? A lot of these young people, what are they hearing? Where are they being radicalized? We are seeing this in real time.
At the root, it's in the classrooms, in the college classrooms, and then now it's in the grade school, high school classrooms. And then you have to use the law enforcement and let them action the targets. They know who these people are. We have the most intelligence gathering apparatus on the planet, and it's been turned inward on us with the Patriot Act. So they know who all the Antifa are. They know who's bankrolling them. They know who's funding. They need to shut down their bank accounts, freeze the bank accounts. They shut off USAID because a lot of the money from USAID was going to these nonprofits that George and Alex Soros set up, and then it's funded inward to the United States to poison the country from within. So that's how you do it, Steve. Unleash the Joint Terrorism Task Force. They're already there. The framework is already there. It already exists, and it was built for Al Qaeda and foreign terrorists. Just turn it inwards on these guys on Antifa.
Guys, I'm telling you, and it's like, and I want to show you this, y'all, because again, Trump and their team and what they're doing, they're trying to make sure that people are safe, trying to bring forth the actual science, guys. But you cannot negotiate with people that think like this. Look at this. This is a mom who says, doing my civic duty as a pregnant woman and taking Tylenol because this administration is a joke. Look, this is a video that she posted, okay? This is like a trend now for leftist Democrats on TikTok, Instagram, all that. But isn't it so funny that literally the very same company posted, this is the company Tylenol. This was from 2017 that said, we actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Thank you for taking this time to voice your concerns today. And even President Trump reposted this. How do you negotiate with people who the very company said it years ago, don't do this? And then Trump says, hey guys, we figured it out. We kind of see a trend. It's from Johns Hopkins and from Harvard. Don't do this because it's doing this. And then you have these leftist people saying, oh, I'm going to stick it to Trump by taking Tylenol while I'm pregnant, even though the company recommends that I don't do so. We're like these people need prayer. You cannot negotiate with these people. It is so hard because, again, you just want what's best for people. But how do you negotiate? Glow, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Member of the channel. Say there were shots fired at the ICE facility this morning in Dallas. 100. Yeah, we're covering that. Two people have already lost their lives. 3 people. And guys, I didn't mean the balloons. That was some stupid thing on the video that it does that. But 2 people have lost their lives. 3 people have been hurt. Yasho Glow, some love in the chat. Tracy DeCombre, thank you so much for the super chat. Said this is good versus evil. We seem to keep uncovering things, but yet there are no arrests. No one is being held accountable. Well, there are arrests, just not of the big names. Yasho Tracy DeCombre, member of the channel, some love in the chat, everybody. And thank you so much, Lori Rapier. So much for being a member of the channel, for the super chat. She said, praying for you in the chat. Amen. Thank you so much, Lori. We appreciate you and your support. Y'all show Lori some love in the chat. Rusty Co, thank you so much. Welcome to the family. Lay Lewis, OG of the channel, said there needs to be a major example made of somebody ASAP. I agree 100%. If we don't set the example, listen to this, guys. I'm telling you, this is what the left is saying, and it's what it's doing, in my opinion, is it's radicalizing their base even more. Let me know your thoughts.
I fear that we will not have an election in 2028. I really mean that in the core of my soul, unless we wake up to the code red, what's happening in this country, and we wake up soberly to how serious this moment is.
Okay, you see the support there. Code red, not going to have an election. My girlfriend Hillary saying sweet things. She's right. We understood that, look, Hillary, it's not about, let me explain this. It's not about reaching out and using social media in 15 and 16 with people like Cernovich and others, the Pepes. And yes, I knew that from the gaming world, that there were all these disaffected young people, young men out there. But why? Why are they out there? It was your governance, because you and Bill became, the 90s became when globalization exploded. Why? A minority president, Bill Clinton. Remember, Bill Clinton only got 43% the first time. I think he only got 46% the second time. He was never had the majority of the country vote for him. But they immediately, with Bob Rubin, embraced globalization to the nth degree. Now, this is right after the Bushes, Bush 1, had saved the Chinese Communist Party from being overthrown by Lao Beijing at Tiananmen Square in 1989. Please, if you take away anything of the show, is that we essentially abandon the 2 greatest allies we had in World War II. After the war, in the last stages of the war, and then up to 1949. The Russian people, not the Bolsheviks, the Russian people and the Chinese people, Lao Beijing. We turned over, we armed Stalin to the teeth and allowed him to take the captive nations of Eastern Europe. In Berlin, all those footage you see of the fall of Berlin in the Second World War, the greatest human catastrophe in mankind's history, and we allowed the Russians to put the red flag up there. That was allowed by us. That was allowed by General Marshall and FDR and Harry Hopkins, Alger Hiss, all the KGB agents, all the communists, all the fellow travelers in the Democratic administration, yes. Then later, 1949, they turned it over to a group of bandits who did not lift a finger in World War II, the Chinese Communist Party. Then 50 years later, guess what? Those very people had a belly full of it. Tiananmen Square in June of 1989 and the fall of the Berlin Wall in November of 1989. Gosh, wow. That's the first time everybody's tied together. Why is that? Because the globalists know exactly, and the sympathizers with the Marxists and the communists know exactly what happened. That's why they never tied together. They want you to be fools. They want you to be fools. And Hillary Clinton and all the, let's stop thinking about tomorrow, whatever it is, the song they played, and they're all clapping down there in Little Rock and all happy. And then they turned and sold the country out. Chinese generals coming in, they're renting the Lincoln bedroom Hey, and don't think the Republicans are much better. The Bush business Republicans kind of, okay, fine, we'll make China this, make China, and ship all the jobs. Why are the young men disaffected? It ain't because they're playing video games. They're playing video games, got nothing else going on in their life. They don't have a decent job. The education system's against them. They're looked at, they're made as villains. The same young men from the same families that, oh, wow, the greatest generation. You fetishize the greatest generation as they should be honored, but you dishonor their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. They're young men, the same. I told this at the speech in front of the Jewish community in down in Dallas. I gave this speech with the rabbis down there. I said, hey, the same people it's the same grandsons of the same type of young men that are Americans that were in the 8th Air Force, 8th Air Corps over Germany. And I think we have 40,000 we've never recovered.
I want to show you this, guys, because it is really popping off right now over this whole ICE attack that's happened. This is from the Rapid Response 47 team. Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. This is big, big stuff because people need to see this. Everybody needs to see this, that, again, when you hear an elected representative say things like this, where does it put these people that work at ICE?
But as somebody who understands history, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols. Now, I never lived through the slave patrol period, but if you know the history of policing in this country, then you understand that they were born out of slave patrols.
Slave patrols. That's literally what the Democratic side has just called people that work at ICE, slave patrols. Now, you want to, it makes me so upset, guys. These people need to be held accountable for this. There has to be accountability for calling these people slave patrols, trying to put people in slavery. No, they're trying to get them out of our dang country because they came here illegally because the Democratic side opened the border and let an invasion of 20 million people come in. Guys, this is the receipts. This is what people don't hear. And this is not common sense. This makes me so upset because this is coming just from one side. Slave patrols. That's what she literally called ICE. Immigration law enforcement. Slave patrols. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I'm so fed up with this, and it makes me so upset that these people are literally elected representatives. Susie INTX, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said we are in a spiritual battle. God bless you all. Amen. Y'all show Susie, member of the channel, some love in the chat. This is 100% right. Susie, Jesus is Lord. Thank you so much for the super chat. Said the fact people would jeopardize their unborn children because of their hatred for Trump should tell you everything. They're missing it up here, y'all. Y'all show Jesus is Lord, some love in the chat. It breaks my heart. It truly breaks my heart. Thank you so much to Gina for the gifted 10 True Life News memberships. Growing the family. If you got free membership from Gina, show her some love in chat. Hey, guys, everybody, I know some people get upset when I say guys. Everybody, give it up for our boy, OG of the channel, Mr. Tracy J. Norby, for gifting 50 True Life News memberships, growing the family. What an OG. Thank you so much, Mr. Norby, for your grace, your kindness, your blessings to our channel. If you got a free membership from Mr. Norby, show him some love in the chat. That is a big blessing to our giving that we do every single month. On the 22nd of every single month we give. And don't forget, guys, everybody, to show Chris Prez some love for gifting 20 True Life News memberships. Such a blessing. I'm telling you, this is such a fight. We have to grow our voice. We have to continue showing the receipts. And when you share our videos on X, on Facebook, and people see these things, they see what we show you, a lot of things pulled, a lot of context, because it matters. We don't just want to listen to one stream of media. We want to see the full context.
It's like I refer back to the Untouchables. Who's got the will to take the axe and beat down the door and go through the door? You're not going to be popular. You're going to be called divisive. You're going to be called angry. You're going to be called all of this. Well, hey, only the divisive and the angry and the focused and the determined are going to sit there and say, we're going to save this country. No, we're not going to get patted on the head and then have, Jimmy Kimmel normally has 260,000 viewers per night. That show cost a fortune to produce. 260,000, that was his average viewer. How pathetic is that on a major network? 260,000. They had, I don't know, 11 million last night or some huge amount. Of course he's going to get that because they're all back praising him. He's so great. He's blubbering there. Act like a man. If you're going to come on, be a man. How about that? Start with this. Own it. Own what you did. Own what you said. Own it. Don't be blubbering and then whiny. You're going to whine for a while. You're going to blubber. Then you're going to whine. Poor, pitiful me. Aren't I great? And I didn't then bald-faced lie. Well, I didn't mean I really didn't say anything. You thought you were going to be a narrative shift and say, oh, this guy's MAGA, when you knew it was a bald-faced lie.
Yes.
You people are revolting. And we've allowed you to take charge of the greatest country in the world, and now we're taking it back, and you don't like it. Well, you ain't seen nothing yet because this is the top of the first inning. The top of the first inning. And anybody's there for accommodation, anybody there's for quote unity with that, there's nothing to unify around. They want to destroy our young men. Don't ask me, ask our young men. Hear it from them. Why is marriage later? Why are family formations later? Why are we approaching a demographic crisis? Why? Because all the economic opportunity is taken from them. And then Howard Lutnick, that blowhard, is up there. He should be fired. That is the worst performance out of a Secretary of Commerce. This is his job. He puts out nothing but phony information in the Oval Office right next to the president. He's either feeding the president that phony information or he's just lying. And here's the scam. We have Reed Hastings and all these guys now saying, we really like what we're doing in the 100,000. That's because Amazon and Hastings at Netflix, all these guys are hiring. This is all they think just going to take care of the body shops, right? We need to stop. You want to get young men away from the video games? You want to get them away from the video games? Get them out of the basement? Hey, we got jobs for them. There's 12 million STEM qualified folks in our country don't have jobs. I got plenty of jobs for them. It's in Silicon Valley. Send the foreigners home today. Take those kids in college. The foreign students, no. They don't get into the OPT crowd. They don't get into the HB1Vs. They go home and help to make their countries great again. And American citizens, Hispanic, black, white, Asian, Muslim, but as long as you're an American citizen, they get the jobs. You want to get them out, right? You want to have earlier family formations. You want to have earlier marriages. You want to start to see the sunlit uplands. Then stop crushing the greatest asset we've ever had, the next generation in this country. And now we've had this conversation, and Hillary, you did it. It's your embrace of globalization, and you turned against the white working class that had put you in office in Arkansas, and you reached out and tried to save you when President Obama ran as a anti-war populist. You're so phony and hypocritical. And you sit there, we have to start discussing this stuff. Look at your policies that destroyed this country. Look in the mirror. As hard as it might be, I understand that. Look in the mirror.
Guys, I want to show you this because, again, it always boils down to the control. If a nation has strong men that are leading their families in godly, I'm saying Christian homes, that's how this whole dang country got started. So for those that deny it, stop denying it. You had people that wanted to stand up for freedom, people that stood up for, they wanted fair and equitable across for everybody. And now you see that it was all about control. You take out the upcoming generation of young men, you take out a country. And then you replace them. You tell the man that you make it okay, and you make them more feminine. And then you demasculate men, and then you make women to try to be like men. And then that's when you have men and women's sports, and then you got the women who won't even fight it because it's their own agenda. None of it makes any sense, but that's what they've done. And when we're showing you that, look, the Biden administration caught using the government to force Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook to censor political enemies, this is a fight. It's such a deeper fight, and a lot of people have already alluded to it in the chat. It's a deeper fight than just who's going to be in office. It's a deeper fight of trying to take out Christian values, which, again, guys, Christian values are great. Literally love your enemy. Be kind. Show love. Help the poor. Help the widows. Help the orphans. Have peace with all men. Like, what is so bad about that? But now we're seeing all this attacks against ICE facilities, these attacks against people. Like, it's just mind-blowing. We're going to show you what the most updated news, but it has to stop. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you appreciate this. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up, like button. Thank you so much for your support. It really does help our channel. And thank you so much, B1 Sly One, OG of the channel, said True Life News doesn't report conspiracies, only truth, supported by facts and receipts. Amen, brother. Y'all show B1 Sly One some love in the chat. And don't forget to show Mr. Norby some love for gifting 50 True Life News memberships and just growing the family. Gina for gifting 10 True Life News memberships. Chris Prez for gifting 20 True Life News memberships. And don't forget Lori Rapier for her support. Listen to this.
This needs to stop. Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong. It was 2 weeks ago today that we saw a political assassination in Utah that tore the heart out of much of this country. This is the third shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP. This must stop. To every politician who is using rhetoric demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop. To every politician demanding that ICE agents be doxxed and calling for people to go after their families, stop. This has very real consequences. Look, in America, we disagree. That's fine. That's the democratic process. But your political opponents are not Nazis. We need to learn to work together without demonizing each other, without attacking each other. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of law enforcement. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of ICE and CBP and everyone who puts their lives on the line to keep us safe. The divisive rhetoric tragically has real consequences. I hope that every one of us will pray, number one, for the safety of law enforcement that are risking their lives to keep us safe. Number two, for the health of those who were shot and injured today. We still don't know the full details of who was injured, but for the families also of the victims of this shooting. Violence has no place. It is wrong. And we should come together. If we want to have a debate about immigration policies, we can do so in the halls of Congress without demonizing each other, and especially without demonizing the men and women who every day put on a badge and go risk their lives to keep us safe. And we should not be putting language out there that inspires madmen to commit evil crimes. Our prayers are with the men and women of law enforcement, and we ought to come together and have some decency across the political aisle to say this violence is wrong and it needs to stop.
So we've got the image of the person who committed this heinous act. This is a 29-year-old Joshua John, had leftist views, and they're saying he may have been influenced by Antifa. We also have it where, again, we show you the receipts, guys. I'm not just going to tell you that the left is saying things. I'm just going to show you that there are. Listen to this.
This is not Germany. That's the SS and the Gestapo. This is the United States of America.
You just heard a representative, Democratic representative, calling ICE agents the SS and Gestapo. What do you expect from these young guys, young people that are influenced by their leaders when you basically call them the worst things that you can call them? And I want to show you, I want to get into something else, but guys, give it up for our brother Norby with another 20 TrueLife News memberships gifted, guys. What a blessing. Show Mr. Norby some love in the chat. Growing the family. If you got a free membership from Mr. Norby, show him some love in the chat. As well as Gina and Chris Prez, growing the family today. Thank y'all so much for your support. What a blessing. I love it. Growing the family, it means so much to me. We want to grow our voice, grow our memberships, grow our giving. What you're about to see next, guys, I'm telling you, it all boils down to this, because what we're seeing, again, too, it's all about control. And if there's affordability crisis, if people can't afford to live, the government is going to try to step in and take control and save people when they're the very dang people that caused the problem. Listen to this.
All right, Lauren, come on in on this. You're watching Yields every day of the week with Stu Varney. You're talking about these issues. Stephen Myron, look, the risks are jobs here. That's why we need to cut. Jay Powell, you know, a little bit more moderate about that. What do you make of the situation we're in? What do you make of Stephen Myron's influence on this whole
That's a
Fed
very
governor
good
thing?
question. Does he have influence on the Fed? And he doesn't have much time. Technically, he's up at the end of January,
Yes.
right, to assert and exert whatever influence he does have. But did you hear from Michelle Bowman today? She says policy should de-emphasize inflation, and last week's cut was just the first step to bring the rates back down to neutral. Look, when Stephen Myron came out and said a series of 50-point cuts, I'm reading 4 because he wants to get the rate back to around 2%, that would create a nervousness, a panic in the stock market, but he's saying that's not the case.
Yeah.
The U.S. needs to compete globally. Lower rates help you to do that. You can bring borrowing costs down for businesses, for consumers, and you could unlock the housing market.
Right
I
there.
mean, we have an affordability,
Yeah.
quote-unquote, crisis that needs to be addressed by Democrats and Republicans. If you can get rates down, if you can get people into homes, that all helps. I think this is what Stephen Myron is saying. But Jay Powell is saying the exact opposite. I'm going to be data dependent. I don't care if I'm too late. I'm going to just read the data and react slowly as needed.
You know, Jackie, Lauren said something that has been a feature of this conversation again and again, the risk of the panic. You know, if you make too big of a cut too soon, you could cause the market to panic. Or if you threaten the Fed's independence, you could cause the market to panic. The market has not panicked about any of that stuff. The market panicked about tariffs. It hasn't panicked about anything to do with the Fed since then. And so I sort of feel like, is the data of the market on Myron's side here?
I think it is. And actually, many were saying if we got a 50 basis point cut this last time around, the market would panic. I don't think so. They have a microphone and they broadcast to the market what they're thinking when they sit down and have these conversations, but also when they do press conferences, what they're thinking ahead. They give us a little insight into it. I think the market would say the Fed realized that it was wrong and it's trying to do something to course correct. And I think this market would be just fine with that, as a matter of fact.
Lydia, you brought up Bowman's remarks in the first hour. So you, Lauren, reading the same set of notes there. No, it's very
great.
good.
Like mine,
because
I
it
love
matters. And let me throw in why I think it matters. You had, in this last meeting, you had an 11-to-1 situation, basically.
Yeah.
11 of the voting members said, we're on for a quarter point. Myron's the outlier. So everyone says there's great. The Feds seem to rally around Jay Powell in this meeting. But you wonder if that's really the case. And with Bowman in her comments today, I would argue you've got a more divided Fed now than you've had in a very long time.
Absolutely, because another set of comments I was looking at were coming from Raphael Bostic, who also spoke today. He interviewed with the Wall Street Journal yesterday, and he's kind of on the other end of the spectrum, suggesting that he only wanted one rate cut for this year. He voted for the 25-point cut in the last meeting. That would suggest that maybe he's looking at the scenario and saying no more rate cuts for the rest of the year, perhaps. So it does seem like Jay Powell maybe is walking down the middle of the road when you look at the full landscape of the voting members. You know, he's not the most hawkish, he's not the most dovish. But you know, where he goes from here, you're very right to point out, Lauren, that this has some real implications for the housing market, not just with mortgage rates, but also with the supply constraint. You know, last week we had data on housing starts and building permits. They were surprises to the severe downside, suggesting that we're not anywhere close to literally building our way out of the housing shortage anytime soon. So some relief there, I think, would be appreciated by builders and people in the housing market as well.
If you just look at...
I want to show you this, y'all, because stuff is just popping up, and I'm just going to show you things as they're coming out. I hope you appreciate this. If you do, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, this is so big because it literally is telling. If we do not hold these dang people accountable, look at what Governor Gavin Newsom said just days ago. Kristi Noem is going to have a bad day today. You're welcome, America. How do you say that? To me, that's like a direct threat. To me, that's like somebody who's calling for somebody to do something. Let me know your thoughts. And again, I want to show you this, and I show you this because this is what we're dealing with. There is people in America that need prayer. They need help. You cannot negotiate with people like this. So how do you get the country back on track? How do you get things better? Look what somebody reposted. This is from Reddit Lies. This has 353,000 likes, this image. Somebody posted the Charlie Kirk Memorial Fountain. It's been seen 11.7 million times, has 353,000 likes and 21.7 thousand reposts. How do you negotiate with people that believe or celebrate or like this? It breaks my heart, guys. How it's just, oh my goodness. It just tells you how broken people are. That's the state that we're in. It tells you how broken people are. I'm fed up with it. I know you're fed up with it. And Trump needs to take action against this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
The American mind, Kevin, I would argue the biggest thing on their mind when it comes to the Fed and interest rates is housing. It feels
right
like
there, the housing.
Everything you want to work for in life is stymied by this market. Is that a big enough issue for the Fed to tilt the scale a little bit to lower rates, even if the inflation problem isn't totally licked?
Here's the problem. The Fed may not be able to fix mortgage rates. They're more priced on 5- and 10-year Treasury. And they didn't budge on the 25 basis point cut because there's other reasons. One of it's deficit. Others are looking at inflation and worried about the print on Friday. And the other problem, you know, is, Lydia made reference to it, the input costs on copper and aluminum and nickel and softwood lumber are all in the 35% tariff right now. So if you talk to a builder, any of the big ones, they're saying, wait a second, can't get permits. The stuff we make houses with is inflated like hell right now until you work out what the real tariff's going to be with the countries that supply it. Canada's one of them, but there's others. And, you know, that's policy. And the Fed says, great, we'll cut another 25 basis point. I don't think the 5-year budges. And so nobody, the idea of a 4% mortgage rate or, 3.5%, it's never coming back, ever. So, and remember, America ran on 7% mortgages for 50 years.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not, that's never coming back. And it doesn't matter how much the president jawbones it, the big bond vigilantes, that name's going to come back from the 70s and 80s. They're the ones pricing long-term debt, and they don't like what they see right now.
It's this affordability question, just to move this in the realm of politics a little bit. This is what the left has, one thing they've learned is run on affordability. And they know housing is maybe of all those pieces, the one that's really going to stick with people right now. If the Fed is inert, Lauren, if them cutting rates isn't going to move mortgage rates down, I think that, I would say Republicans are in a little bit of a pickle here, because I do think that they wanted to deliver on lower housing costs, and I don't know that it's happening right now.
Well, maybe they can do some other things. Like, I remember about a decade ago when we were looking for a house, rates were not that high, but prices were.
Yep.
And my dad said, well, when you were born and we bought our house, I paid the 13% interest rate, but houses weren't that expensive. Now, unfortunately, rates are high and homes are very expensive at record prices. So
and I want to show you this too, because again, it's all boils down to what did the administration do? The previous administration. When you let in 20 million people, they're gonna live somewhere, guys. And whenever they live somewhere, it's going to drive up demand. And whenever we see that the Trump administration says, look, there's a way that we got to lower interest rates for people to afford homes, but we got to lower demand by removing people that aren't even supposed to be here. Let's get them out of the country. It's been confirmed that over 151,000 Americans have applied to be ICE agents, even in the face of mounting terror attacks and threats against them. These men and women who've applied, which there is more than 151,000 of them, considering we set out to recruit 10,000, they recognize the call. Think about it like that. In the past, just in the last 250 days, they've arrested more than 600 known or suspected terrorists, 3,000 members of Tren de Aragua out of the interior of the United States. So it's again too, it boils down to where are your priorities. Are you America last or are you America first? Are you going to actually put Americans first and do what you can? Because again too, if one of these criminals or gang members kills an American, that's one too many. And they're only here because of the previous administration. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because I feel like we're at the point now where if
this vote's not going to be
with what you're about to see next, I can see this very well happening because things are getting so bad. Listen to this.
This vote's not going to be there forever. Charlie Kirk, obviously, taken by God. Trump, you're only going to have so much more time with Trump. I'm a strong believer that we're going to go through. This is not the last term. He's going to run again in 28. I realize that that's very controversial. But you only have these towering figures for a while, and you have to build an institution to go on and finish what we started. Now more than ever. This is why was I banging on the table so much about the Antifa investigation? Because that's going to lead so many places. Don't listen to media and some of the Antifa guys out there think those are the Grundoons. Yes, they should be rolled up and clearly in Portland. But we want to get to the middle layer of the military and intelligence operatives that have trained them, and our military is infested with it. And you got to get then to the Mac Daddy. You got to get down to the big NGOs that support it, the media people that are in business with them, the corporations that are in business with them, the big donors that are in business with the foreign money. Boom. The terrorism and the deep state are inextricably linked on the color revolution against the American people. And now we're starting to get apparatuses in to adjudicate, to take it apart and adjudicate. This is where it's going, and they can squeal all day long. They want in the media. In fact, they're not squealing. We're not doing enough unless they're squealing more. if they're not throwing their toys out of the pram in a hysteric meltdown every day, I don't feel we're doing our job. We, all of us, only have so much time here. What do I keep saying? Maximalist strategy. Go take it all the way. Seize the institutions and do it with a sense of urgency. Action, action, action.
And again, it's like, this is what a lot of people are calling for Trump to take it to the next level. Because again, I don't want you to forget this, everybody, that they're, with Obama and Biden facing debanking allegations. So we've just shown you today, Biden administration, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, now the banking, like all this stuff is adding up, and it's all from the one side, y'all. We bring the receipts, we show you.
But the problem is when it gets political, okay? And that's what Eric Trump was saying here. So here's what happens, okay? You've got debanking, fine. It could be good, it could be bad. It depends on why you do it. The problem, let me point you to it, is this one right here. Okay, so bank regulators now for several years have said, if a client gives you reputational risk, we're going to scrutinize you. Now, the question is, what does reputational risk mean? Well, it turns out it means whatever you want it to mean. And if you're Obama or Biden, it could mean conservative causes you don't like. But the problem is when it gets political, okay? And that's what...
You see this? Again, we're digging deep. We're showing you the receipts, what they're actually facing, y'all. Thank you so much, El Prophet 11 for the super chat. Let's go. I love it. It's all mounting up. The evidence is clear. And again, too, no denying it. These people literally admitted it to Congress after years of investigations.
Someone who knows a bit about censorship and the censorship industrial complex, Babylon Bee CEO Seth Dillon, he joins us now. So, Seth, great to have you. Nice to see you. Tell me about your personal experience with Alphabet and YouTube shutting down the Bee.
Well, first, I just have to laugh at the comment about how they care about conservative voices. Really? Like, I was smiling and laughing before you brought me on. Well, you know, the Bee has faced censorship from a number of platforms, usually over the issue of misinformation, but then it transitioned into something with hate speech, you know, jokes that you're not supposed to tell. My biggest concern with what was happening was the fact that this was the Biden administration that through back channels was pressuring these platforms. You know, it's one thing if the platforms themselves take down content they don't like based on their own terms of service. We can have a whole discussion about whether or not they should have the right to do that, whether or not these large-scale platforms for public discourse should be, you know, free for open discourse without them having the kind of control over our speech that they have. We can have that debate, but there is no debate when it comes to government coercion through the back door. They can't constitutionally do that through third parties. It's as if the government is censoring you themselves when they do that. So this was a First Amendment issue, and I don't think that it's enough for YouTube to just put people back on after all these years of losing all that revenue and all that reach. Now, I mean, is COVID-19 even a topic we need to be debating? We needed to be debating it at the time.
Amen.
Because we know what's going to happen if and when a Democrat's back in the White House. They're going to do it again. And there's nothing stopping them. I mean, they're falling on their knees now, but because they're worried about regulation coming out of the Trump administration. They haven't said that, but we all know that's the fact. And there was a lawsuit that was brought about the COVID-related, it was really about the COVID-related censorship with the collusion between the Biden administration and the big tech companies. I call them like the horsemen of the apocalypse. And the Supreme Court would not render a decision on it said that the plaintiffs did not have standing, one of whom was Dr. Jay Bhattacharya. So they just kind of dropped it and wiped their hands of it and never kind of wrote an opinion on it.
Well, where's the accountability?
And again, it's always about the accountability. Who's supposed to be the person who's arresting all these people? Attorney General Pam Bondi. Investigations. I mean, guys, look at this. Even whenever, after years, look at this. FBI finds and reveals they have found classified docs at John Bolton's office pertaining to weapons of mass destruction, strategic communications, and U.S. interests at the United Nations. Are you serious? We're living in some crazy times, y'all. Robert Cash, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. Let's go. Said accountability, truth, and justice. That's what we want. Go MAGA. I love it. Show Robert Cash some love in the chat, everybody. Everything that we're dealing with, guys, nowadays, even when it comes to, like, this is probably one of the funniest things that I've seen. Democrats trying to explain why Jimmy Kimmel being fired is free speech violation. But the Biden administration using Google, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to silence conservatives is not a free speech violation. This is what we're dealing with right here. We're not playing the same game. We're not the same whatsoever. And it's how far are they going to take it before something even worse than what we've seen happens? Things have to change.
That's what I wonder, because this was a constitutional violation if you had the government involved, and clearly the government was involved, and YouTube has admitted that. Zuckerberg admitted that he was facing pressure as well from the administration. So the censorship was heavy-handed and it was coming from the government. But the COVID stuff was really, what really got my blood boiling back then was how there was this argument that, even as they started to realize that they were too heavy-handed with their censorship, and the story started to change, and things that we thought were false turned out to be true. They always, try to absolve themselves by saying, well, we censored based on what we knew at the time. And I'm just thinking to myself, that's actually an argument against censorship, because it's a concession that knowledge changes over time, which means that if it does change over time, you might be censoring the truth right now. So we shouldn't be engaged in censorship. The best way to get to the truth is through open discourse and debate. And I'm hopeful that we'll have some more progress in that direction. This is great. This is a great first step. But again, I know people personally who are making $150,000 a month on YouTube when they got suspended for these, ridiculous thought crimes that they had committed. Where's the recompense for that?
All right, so Seth, quickly, what is the best way to get back at these companies who engaged in censorship with the government? Forgiveness is not enough. And as you said, reinstating people is enough. So how do you really change the dynamic moving forward?
Well, it is unlawful, I think, what they were doing. There needs to be some accountability through the courts. I think the social pressure that's been applied, and also, this is a lot of this change that we're seeing is the result of people using their voices to push back on this stuff, to apply more pressure to these companies, to elect leaders that are going to actually do something about it. And right these wrongs. So I think we're making progress in the right direction. As far as what the final solution is, I don't know, but the platforms are freer today than they were yesterday, and that's a good thing.
All right, very good.
Big thing, guys. And I want to show you this because, again, our president, he's doing things different, and you got to bring some humor into this because this is just hilarious. So President Trump has been redecorating the White House. He created this wall of presidential photos. We've got Reagan, Bush Sr., Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, the auto pen. And then Trump again, guys. Trump is such a troll. If you appreciate this, because again, Biden wasn't the president. There's no way. This dude was not there. We now know it. Cognitive decline. The auto pen signed everything. He had no idea what was going on. And he literally put it in the White House, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, that's just hilarious. Things have got to change, y'all. We are living in some crazy, crazy times right now. Again, I would like to say thank you to everybody who's watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family, hitting the subscribe button, and helping us grow our voice. And I want to say also, too, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much, everybody, for your support. It really does help to grow our voice. I want to give some special love to, here, let me blow it up a little bit more there for you. I want to give some special love to those that have given today. Remember, on the 22nd of every single month, we're donating live on stream to a local charity. I want to give some special love to the Texas Lazy Gardener. said they need to investigate the ballistics not adding up. FBI is lying about it. We're gonna be on it. Y'all show the Texas Lazy Gardener, member of the channel, some love in the chat. Gator Presley, Fred Samuel, Glow, Tracy DeCambre. Thank y'all so much. Lori Rapier, thank you so much for the super chat. I love it. Show Lori some love in the chat. Welcome to the family, Rusty Coat. Lay Lewis, OG of the channel. Susie in Texas, thank you so much. Show Susie some love in the chat. Jesus is Lord. Amen. Gina, thank you so much for the gifted 10 True Life News memberships. Show Gina some love in the chat. B1 Sly One, thank you so much for your support. Fred Samuel, thank you so much. Said you all keep your head on a swivel. Be prepared to protect yourself and those around you. Pray for your enemies and keep fighting for our country. Amen. Show Fred Samuel some love in the chat. El Prophet, Robert Cash, Mr. Tracy J. Norby with the gifted 70 True Life News memberships. Gifted, growing the family. Show Mr. OG of the channel, Mr. Norby, some love in the chat. Chris Prez, other OG of the channel, with the 20 gifted True Life News memberships. Thank y'all so much, brothers, for growing our family. Thank you so much. Carla Thomas with the 10 gifted True Life News memberships, growing the family. If you got a free membership from Carla, show her some love in the chat. Growing our voice, growing the membership. Thomas Antranto, thank you so much. Said the truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. Let loose. It will defend itself. Amen. Y'all show Thomas some love in the chat. And Dina P, member of the channel, thank you so much for the super chat. Said California AB 771 just passed. California state government sees any social media or platform posting that they get to decide if it is hate speech or not. We can go to jail and turn up to $1 million in fines. Guys, that is fascism right there. You don't get to determine what is hate speech. That is a very, very bad slippery road. Thank you so much, Dina, for the super chat, for the news. Y'all show Dina some love in the chat, member of the channel. Thank you so much for sharing our videos on Facebook and X. We can't thank you enough. We love and appreciate you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.